Okay, folks, Andrew Bopros here. Yes, I am alive. Literally, the past 24 hours have not been pleasant for me. Having said that, I am here. I am alive. Good to be with you guys out. I wanted to do a video, feeling halfway decent, about a new signing we just had. And it's a pretty interesting conversation. So, the Chargers today have signed a defensive lineman, Nesta Jade Silvera, in a corresponding move. The Chargers waived an injured defensive lineman, Josh Fuaga. Interesting conversation about him because he's an undrafted free agent. So, pretty interesting to see how this is going to play out, guys. So, should be a good little video, guys. As always, let's get into it. Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Bopros. Yeah, so let's talk about this young man here. Let's talk about the person that was waived first over the man of the hour who's now joining our team. But Josh Faga, it's an interesting situation. He signed with the Chargers this year as an undrafted free agent. So I was asking myself the question, well, if we release him or let him go, how does that work? So, like, what does that process look like? Well, the interesting thing about it is he signed with the Chargers as an undrafted free agent this spring. He will revert to injured reserve if he goes unclaimed on waivers. So I didn't quite know this, but after he is signed, he is technically with the team until somebody else claims him. Now, I would say that there's a very high chance that he's not going to be claimed on waivers. He's an injured football player, cannot practice. So most likely he'll just be put on the injured reserve, which I thought was absolutely amazing. So in this signing that we have today, we lose absolutely nothing, right? We lose absolutely nothing. In fact, if anything, we gain a player that gives us an opportunity to potentially be more competitive. And again, what's the mantra with this team, guys? Competitors welcome. So Josh will most likely just be moved to injured reserve if no other team claims him, which again, I'm assuming that will not happen. So let's just talk about the man of the hour, and it's an interesting conversation, right? Again, this jersey makes me want to physically be ill like I was yesterday. I'm already starting to kind of my stomach is getting a little queasy looking at this. But let's look at the way he looks. This looks like a defensive lineman, guys. I mean, the jersey's askew. You can barely even read his number right here. He looks like he's been in war, right? And that's what happens with defensive linemen for sure, right? But at the end of the day, he's a big man. I think he's 320, 330 is what I've seen those two different numbers, but he's about 6'2". He's a big dude, man. And I think there's a lot to be said about him as a player. Now, the interesting thing about so basically they signed Nesta Jade Silvera to the 90-man roster. They waived Josh Fuaga, as I mentioned, again with the injury designation. Silvera was a 2023 7th round pick by the Raiders. Okay. He played in 9 games for the team in the last 2 years. So he's had 10 tackles in those appearances, including one against the Chargers in week 4 of the 2023 season. But one thing I would say about this, though, too, what a good opportunity for this young man to come to a team and really, have an opportunity to get looked at again in the NFL. Right now, you're on the Raiders. We all know the Raiders have not been a good team for quite some time. At the end of the day, what we need defensive linemen to do, what Jesse Minter needs defensive linemen to do is block destruction. Your job is to take on a double team. I watched a lot of footage of the Hall of Fame game, and Jamari Caldwell did a great job. All the defensive linemen, their entire job was to hit the center and the guard, or the guard and the tackle. They are literally jamming their bodies inside that line, so they can be a free space for one of the linebackers or one of the edge rushers to stunt and come in. That is the entire job of the defensive lineman, and this guy would do a good job at that. Right now, again, every defense is different. Every defense has a different way of wanting to do things, but at least this young man would have an opportunity to potentially, resurrect his career, or at least, show that he still has a lot of life left in him. So we'll see how it plays out. But again, nothing glaring stats wise. I mean, he's not one of those guys that's going to, pop off the, everyone talked about us signing Wilkins, which I thought was kind of hilarious, but look, this young man at least has an opportunity to potentially, resurrect his career with the Chargers. And I'm excited to see what happens. So, give me your thoughts on this. I know it's just a brand new signing. I'm interested to see what your thoughts are on this. But, at the end of the day, he's a camp body. We'll see if he actually makes a 53-man roster. But as always, Andrew Boltbros, see you guys in the next.
Hey, what's up? Cameron Dick here watching the Bolt Bros podcast. Let's go.
Charged up, Bolt Bros on the night.